Hi, everybody. We are here with fabulous Debbie. Deb, I guess. Does anyone actually call you Debbie?
My family.
Your family does. It's like Jessie. I have people that call me Jessie, but it's typically just my mom.
Yeah.
And like friends that I've known forever. So, all right. So she's coming back with this. Oh, we had some situations go on.
Because I was bored.
She was picking.
But
At least she admits such a thing. We like clients that admit it because,
I know who
but
I am.
they were super fun Easter bunnies,
yes.
and they're a month old. But yes, she is a picker. She
One
will.
fell off and broke his head.
She broke one. So this is going to be why we get to see Olena's forms. I actually have had these for 2 weeks or so now, and I have been dying to show you guys these new forms. So I'm super excited that we finally have a chance to do that. So let me find my videos.
Live?
No, we want to find the live. There we go. So anyway, hello, everybody. We can actually see your comments now. So if you have any comments or questions, Deb is going to help ask. So these were fun little Easters. I think this color, I don't remember what color this was. Do you remember?
Bubblegum pink something? I don't know.
That's not a color. Yeah, I don't know. It looks like, yeah, I don't know. What's up?
Do you like what that is?
You can help guide me.
Okay.
So hello to everybody hanging out this evening. I know it's late for some of you if you're on the East Coast. It's 6 something. It's about 7 o'clock. But I am Thursdays are my late night, so I'll work until 10 tonight.
Dottie Kirkland is with us.
Hello, Dottie. Wow, that was a really bad accent. I just realized that I just came out with a random accent. It's probably because I was getting to talk with my last client, Heather, who's so sweet. She was just in England visiting another old client who moved back to England. She was British. And I was really sad when she left because she freaking cracks me up. British people make me laugh so much. Their humor just, like, they don't even have to try to be funny. They're just funny. And so I'm always very sad that when my British clients move away. Oh, we got a pocket lift. So this also happens sometimes with Deb. You'll notice on some clients more than others, depending on how hard they are on their nails. If you're seeing pocket lifting on lots and lots and lots of clients, then your bulbs are old. So you're going to need to change your lamp out. But if it's a random client or a specific client that gets a lot of pocket lifting, which Deb does, she just gets it. Her natural nails just tend to pocket. So this is how I go around a pocket lift. So I am going around the edges here. See, you're a really good lesson today. So thanks for being on live.
I am 5 times a mess.
Yeah, you are a little bit messy. And she's going to be gone for 6 weeks. So we're doing a fade today because she'll be gone for 6 weeks to go down and see another old client that moved away. Everyone moves away. So if you guys be very careful, if you look around the edges as I'm going, you can see where it's flaking off. Do you see that? And so I'm just very carefully drawing a line, and then I'm just thinning out around it. But I'm drawing a line around that pocket, and often I can just grab it with the edge of my nail, and it's just going to flip right off. If it's not lifting quite enough, because it is really pretty well secure on there, I'll grab my nippers and just to grab the corner of it, and see, it just comes right off. So it's just an air pocket. It's the flexibility of her own natural nail tends to create it, and it doesn't really matter what gel I use. I think you've always had pockets. It's still better than when you had acrylic, right? Because you used to have acrylic and they would fall off nonstop. So if you have acrylic clients, they tend to lose nails left and right because they just don't bond. This is that kind of client where they switch to gel and it's way better, but they still have some adhesion problems. And so by doing gel, we've eliminated most of them, but she does occasionally still get a pocket. So that's how I solve it. I'm just going to show you how to fill that with 2 steps instead of 1, because I do want to get a little bit of an arch in there, especially because she's going to be going a little bit longer. So with a regular 30-day manicure, I might keep it totally flat, but because her nails are going to be growing quite a bit, I'm going to make sure there's a little bit of structure in this, so you can call it a structured manicure if you want, or fill if you're old school. Take length down. Any questions so far?
Jessica Amber has a deb that always has 1 or 2 pockets.
Perfect. Hello, Jessica. You know who that is, right?
Is that
Jessica White.
Oh, okay.
Deb says hi. I saw another Deb today, one of my old clients that I haven't seen in ages. She lives in Idaho now, but she's in town because she's about to have grandbabies.
Oh, fun.
So she's like, I got in once. So she's like, I think I can get in one more time before I have to leave again. I'm like, perfect. So I love when I get to see old clients. She was around since Larissa was a babe. So Larissa came down to say hi, and I'm like, yeah, she's almost 15. Crazy. So she gets a little bit of lifting. Like I said, she has a harder time probably adhering than most of my clients. So she is a really good example of a client who might get a little bit of lifting. But as you can see, it's just a little bit, just a smidge there. So how do I combat that? I'm actually using my file on this side of the nail, and I'm pushing up with my file, and it's pushing that lift right off of the nail. Do you guys see that? And then it pops right off.
We're not quite all the way.
Oh. Yeah, you got to say something so you can make it. So you guys didn't see it, but I'm basically pushing up. She'll probably have a little bit on the other thumb.
There we go.
So you guys will get to see it a little bit better. I'm sorry, I didn't know I was not in frame. That's your job.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I told you
I know you didn't know you had to work today. Work for those nails.
That's right.
What a treat again. Oh, Jotana, you are so sweet. I'm super excited about all the Wildflowers products that came out today. There's some new neon flash, and I'm really planning on eventually carrying Wildflowers, but right now I literally have no room in my shop. I want to carry Wildflowers and Light Elegance. Jared is determined to make room for it, but I also have no time in my schedule because I still have to send orders out and do clients every day. So I'm trying to not make it too crazy.
You need an assistant.
I know, but Jared's like, where's all the money? I go, I'm like, because when we have money that comes in, we get new products and then it goes back out. I'm like, we have to stop that if you want it to stay in the bank. All right, so here, as usual, like she's got the pocket on her middle finger. So I don't know whether she uses it as a tool or what, but it's not super uncommon for her. It's uncommon for 99% of my clients.
I type all day every day.
But I'm
aggressive.
You're aggressive.
I am an aggressive typist.
Be aggressive. I have a lot of typists. You know, we live in the land of Microsoft.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody's a typist. But your natural nails are just complicated.
Yes.
So I'm going around very lightly in a circle. So my e-file, as you might know, is on a foot pedal. And so I'm able to slow it down quite a bit. And I'm just very lightly going around. And I'm going on this side of the lift. I'm going on the non-lifted side. And I'm making a circle around where her pocket is. And I'm thinning it out around the pocket. There's a little bit right there that is still attached. And then I find a corner that I've gotten all the way down to the natural nail on. Okay, it's still, you want to do it enough where it literally just falls off. If you're pulling it at all, you did not get enough filed around it because you don't want to cause any damage whatsoever. Okay, it's already going to feel really funny for her as soon as the pocket comes off because there's suddenly air where there was not. There we go. So it should just literally lift right off, and then very, very low speed. I'll typically just blend this in very low speed, very, like almost not, did you see it just stop? Like it's almost not even on. And I'm just doing this because then I don't really have to go over it with my hand file too much because it's going to feel really weird for her. Really weird. Always feels weird.
Sorry.
So I'm creating a fault line. Yeah, you're basically creating a line all the way around the pocket so that you can remove that pocket without having to create a lot of heat or be on that nail very long. You just want to go right around that pocket and it'll come off. Like I said, if you're seeing pockets on a lot of clients. And back for some of us who have been around long enough to live in the days of using UV lamps instead of LED lamps, we would see it around the 5-month mark. 4 to 5 months is all that our bulbs would last with UV lights. And so every 4 months or so, if you were a busy nail tech, you had to go spend another $60 and get another set of bulbs if you wanted to make sure that everything was curing properly. And if you forgot and you weren't paying attention, you suddenly will start seeing people coming in and they've got 3, 4, 5 nails pocket lifting, and you're like, crap. Because you see it on the first person and you know that for the next 3 weeks, all the clients coming in are all gonna have that same problem because your product was not curing properly to the nail. So luckily with the invention of LED lamps, we don't really have to worry about that because the LED lamps will typically work for much longer before they need replaced. Typically by the time we go to replace them, the timers have gone out or they've gotten just super mucked up and we want a fresh lamp. But you don't have to ever worry about bulbs with LED lights like we did back with UV lights. You just had a heyday picking at that. You did. She had a really good time. So I have pickers too. We all do.
About the bunnies. The bunnies are a foil.
Was it a foil or was it a? It was a foil.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's an Easter collection. See if I still have it here.
Yeah, and then it was.
This Easter collection has all these different cute bunnies right here. So lots of really cute bunnies. So when I do the foils, I file the edges and then I use Trinity as a top coat, which is what I did. And most of the time that works just fine. But you know, if a client that likes to pick can find a way, they'll find a way.
I didn't pick until they were already lifted.
And there's her, so the, So here's the thumb. So typically the thumbs and the middle fingers on her are her biggest culprits for pocket lifting. And she is
hitchhiking flipper offer.
And she's got a little bit of a situation there.
I hit myself with a knife.
You hit yourself with a knife.
I hit my nail with a knife when I was cutting up vegetables.
All right, so I'm going to thin this down. I'm going to shorten the length. Okay, file from underneath. Thin this evenly down. I'm going to have to title this video Pocket Lifting. Because I don't see it on anyone else. So most of my videos don't have this. None of my videos have this. So at least, hey, but that, it helps teach somebody something new.
Yep.
Have you tried Trinity under Gel X tips and how does it hold up? So yes, the Gel X tips, those are similar, correct me if I'm wrong, to like a Prise or the, what's the other company that came out with tips like that? Extends. So those are designed to be like a tip application where you use gel as a bond for the tip and then it's like a full coverage. And yes, I have tried it and I think it worked really, really well. I tested it on myself and I wore it until it grew out. And I did it so that I could tell people, yes, it does work. You can use Trinity for this application. So it's no problem whatsoever. I couldn't find a lamp system that I liked and I literally had to like put the flashlight in my mouth. And I'm like, I'm not going to tell people to put their flashlight. I mean, granted, I was doing myself, so that's why. But I just didn't feel like there was a very good lamp setup. And I know that Gelish came out with one that was like on a foot pedal, and I heard like mixed reviews on that. So I haven't heard, I haven't looked to see if GelFX has a great lamp setup for that. Yeah, but I should, because Trinity works amazing on it. I was really, really happy with how it turned out. All right, so I'm gonna get my...
So how do you know when the LED lamps need to be replaced?
If you are, like I said, if you're seeing pocket lifting, even on LED lamps, it's a problem. If your nails aren't coming out shiny, it's a problem. Typically, the bulbs have like 10,000 hours of strength to them. So they're not gonna just like die out the way that UV bulbs did. So you get a lot more time out of it. Let's see if I can, there we go.
Carrie Sanders says hi.
Hi, Carrie.
Jessica Chu's here.
Carrie, you better send me pictures of what you've submitted.
Oh, look, another Deb.
Hello, Deb. Hello, Deb Schmidt. We know Deb. So she also gets some beautiful hangnails.
Yes, I did. I told you I'm 5 kinds of mess today.
She's 5 kinds of mess, and she said it in like PG words, which is really not what she would usually say. Let's be real. I hope. Okay, so my favorite bit, as usual, is my 2S bit. I love this bit so very much. And I'm coming up flat from the side and prepping around the cuticle. You do need to make sure if you're coming on the sidewall that you're pulling any skin back. You don't want to be like bumping into their skin too much, especially if they don't have calluses. Some people have calluses and you can just buff the calluses out with this bit, which is really nice. Deb does not. Deb actually has pretty thin skin, so I have to be a little bit careful with her sometimes. But the other situation. Jotana.
Oh, Jotana, yes. Sorry.
Jessica's a great name. I agree, Jessica, too. There's 3 of us in the room now named Jessica. I mean, it is a very common name, though. That's why when I named my daughter, I was like, you are not going to have a common name. I don't want you to have a weird name. So her name's not weird, but it's not common. So it's Larissa. But then, you know, she decided to go by August. And, you know, back in the day when we were young, like, if you had a nickname, your friends called you by your nickname, but you certainly didn't expect anyone else to call you by your nickname. Well, in schools now, like, they get in the system, and if they can change their name, all the teachers just call them by that name. So she gets called by a nickname at school, and she'll go by that. And when I introduce her to people, they get confused if she introduces herself, because they're like, I didn't know you had a child named August. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't.
Hi, Patty Gonzalez.
Hello, Patty. Oh, I didn't push cuticles back. Push, push, push. So Deb is in my normal hour slot, and I have people after her. So I'm going to be working a little bit faster than I might if I have no one after. So you guys are seeing me at full speed today because I have some repairs to do and things like that. So I want to make sure that we are trying to get done as close to on time as possible. So I'm going to talk about that as I go, about how I'm looking at the clock and things like that, just so that you guys have a mindset when you're working on how you can do things. There was a post going around where someone broke down like the amount of time people spend on a fill, and it's totally fine. If you spend an hour and a half, 2 hours on a fill, power to you. But I have a lot of clients who just can't spend that kind of time. Like, they come in on their lunch break and they're already adding time to their lunch break to get to and from where I am. So, you know, some clients you're going to miss out on if you have to take quite a lot of time. And if you're taking 2 hours for an appointment that could take an hour, you're also have half the income. So you have to think about, you know, how valuable your time is and where you can save time. So I have a class that I do titled All About Saving Time. And some of the things that I talk about are how to keep track of what you're doing, making sure that you're watching your clock. Let's grab a file. Put the file. So always remove the edges of your file. I use my last file to remove the edges of my new file.
Deb Schmidt wants to know if this is an
Atwood bit? Yes, this is the 2S, pointed 2S football bit. It is an Atwood bit. Love Atwood bits. All right, so I'm just going to double check these, make sure there's no skin hanging out that can catch when I file her. I think we're good. So she's going a little bit longer, so I'm going to shorten you right up past fingertip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I'm going to be...
You're going to be long.
A while, yeah.
So go around. I'm going to prep her new growth. I know I went around the cuticle to prep the cuticle, but the cuticle was only this part. She has growth all the way down to here. So I go through and I make sure that I'm prepping all this new growth with my file. I had someone comment on one of my videos, oh, she shouldn't do that. She already used the bit. And it's like, well, the bit's doing a completely different job on a different part of the nail, to be honest. Like, you're not really prepping everything as good as it could be. And especially if you want clients that can go, you know, 6 weeks, you want to make sure that they're good. So Deb is very, like I said, has very thin skin. This one is almost wanting to bleed on me even just from moving her cuticle around. So to be gentle with her. You know, when you've got 20-something-year-old hands, sometimes you get thin skin.
Thank you.
So again, this is fingertips. So I'm using my finger. This is how I kind of gauge my rough estimate of the length that I want. It's weird, I know. I started doing it when I was a baby nail tech, and I don't know how I started doing it, but I've done it ever since. And all it is I put my finger on it, and I can feel from where her nail touches and where the end of her fingertip is. And that way I can tell that these are similar. And it helps to get a guideline on my length. Strange, I know, I do weird things.
Someone asked about August, how she came up with August.
I don't know. Well, her birthday's in August, so maybe that. You know, the kids these days that are teenagers, they're all about, like, everybody, you're not cool if you're not part of the LGBTQ thing. So it's important for everybody to have gender neutral names. So they all pick gender neutral names, and then they go buy those. So it's gender neutral. So that was her gender neutral name that they picked. So I'm like, okay. It's just the world that they are in is different. But that's what she picked. I think because it's her birthday. And it's had a cute nickname. I think she goes by Augie sometimes, which is cute.
It fits her.
Yeah, right? I know. Little flower child. So shortening these up. Her nail bed is much shorter on this hand, and I can't really make this one as long as this one or it feels funny. So they're not models. Clients, they're not models usually. So you kind of have to go in between. So this is actually slightly longer. This one's slightly longer than this one, and it's still not even close. But I try to make them a little bit more an average of the two, really. Okay, thin down the free edge. Thin, 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 thin. Prep. And typically when I get to the end of this hand, I'm checking my time and I'm looking good on time.
There's a clock. Yes, there's a clock behind her
There's
head.
a clock behind her head. She knows. I actually had to get a new one, which the other one, the paper was like peeling all funny. And I was like, oh, we'll just take the paper out and Larissa can draw something cute because she's a great artist. And it fell apart and we bent the thing and it just, there was no saving it. So I had to get a new clock, and it's hard to read because it shadows, like it's weird. So I'm going to have to tweak this one too.
See, now I have to get you for Christmas. A digital for like right there on the wall or something.
Oh, that's not pretty. I at least got a pretty one, but I just need to put a white paper behind it maybe. I don't know. I got to figure out how to make it not shadow so I can see the time better. Maybe put black on it. But yeah, one of my biggest tricks is, and very important, is to put a clock on the wall behind your client's head somewhere. So granted, this is 10 feet behind my client's head, but when I look up, it's a big enough clock that I can see it. And so you want to be able to keep on time. So my goal is by the time I'm done prepping cuticle work, prepping her shaping, doing all of that, I'm at the half an hour mark. And right now I've got about 10 minutes left. So I'm doing really well and keeping on time, which is great.
Repeat the bit information, please.
The bit, yes, this is the 2S football, pointed football bit. My favorite prep bit. I didn't like using bits on cuticles for the longest time. I hated them because I felt like they always did damage. And I could always feel them. So when I would go to a show and I had, you know, when you go to shows, it's really important to go with no nails and you get kaleidoscope nails. So I would get nails done, different one on each hand. And every educator has their own bits that they like to use. And so I would go and I'd get a demo done. And then 3 weeks later, I would file it down, or 4 weeks later, whenever I was done, like, testing it out, I would file it down and I would feel a ridge, and I just hated the rings of fire. Like, if you guys look at this, there's absolutely zero indentation. There's no bumps in her natural nail, which means her natural nail, when I use that bit, it causes no damage. So that was what was really important to me. I didn't want to be able to take someone's nail off and feel any ridges whatsoever. And so when I discovered this bit, it was like angels. It did all the things that I ever wanted. Yeah, exactly. It was like, ah. I could hear it. It was like amazing. I was so excited because it laid down on the nail flat when you use it because of the angle of it. It lays on the nail flat like that. And so you don't create a ring of fire at all. The top part of it, because of the shape, lifts up that cuticle. And it really gets in there and gets all that gunk out. It's amazing. And on one client, oh, I took a painkiller. That's why I'm talking like 8,000 miles an hour. I'm like, what is wrong with me? Yeah, I got like 10 hours into my day and my back started hurting. So when I take my pain pill, I talk like a crazy person.
Chatty.
I do, which is great for videos, but holy cow, I need to take a breath. Who's laughing at me right now? I know that there are people besides you. I know Jessica White's laughing at me right now because she's experienced such a thing.
Live and in person.
I know. When I first experienced that, I my back was hurting, and typically I'm working a long day at 4 o'clock. If my back starts hurting, I will take a pain pill because by 10 o'clock I'm dying. And the first time I noticed it to that extent is I was super tired and really in a lot of pain. And so like the first half of a whole appointment, I was just silent. And I think it was actually the Debbie that came in today that was there. And I was like, hold on, I think I need to take a pain pill. My back's really hurting. So I took it. And like 10 minutes later, I turned into like speed talker. Like, and she started laughing so hard. She was like, oh my God, who are you right now? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I feel fine now. I was like wide awake and things were good. And she was like, she was dying. Oh, Jotana's laughing at me too. Thanks. What bit was used? Was that the same question I just answered? Okay. It's a quiet room today. Yep. I've always done the same thing. Never knew anyone else who did that. Just an instinct, maybe. Oh, yeah, the measuring on the tip. Yeah, it's weird. I just started doing it one day. And I had a client, when you're doing this, and I had a client once, and she was like, why do you do that? I'm like, why do I do what? And she's like, press on my finger. I'm like, I press on your finger? She's like, yeah. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm like, tell me when I do it again. And so I was like filing away, da 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 da. I did that, and she goes, that, and I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm just checking to see that I didn't even notice I did it. Hi, Dottie. I always loved her name. It's so cute. All right, done. Let's check the length real quick. This one obviously is nothing.
One doesn't count.
That one doesn't count yet. This one could be a little smidge shorter. This one could be a smidge shorter. This also needs to come down a little bit too much arch going on. Okay, and this one can come down a smidge. All right. I'm going to give them a good cleaning, and this is my mix of about 75% prep and wipe, about 25% acetone. It's going to feel really weird on the balded ones that had nothing on them because they suddenly are exposed to air. It's like, if you've ever had clients that are switching from acrylic to gel, I always suggest, if you can do it that morning, do it because you will feel a huge weight difference.
So many habits. Oh, yeah.
Just too. Jotana says so many habits she's had to break down because people are like, why? And you just do. You figure stuff out and you just do it. All right. So I'm going to put forms on. Da-da-da! I'm so excited for these beauties right here. This is the new forms fresh in from Germany. Olena, who won the world championship at least once last year, whatever, she has created these, and I've been excited to get my hands on them because they are the perfect thickness. You've got a nice heavy duty form, which is great for keeping your shape. I always do that. Oh, look, it's got a little cutout there. Okay. So what I'm really excited about is these are the lines to create your teddy bears. So if you look at it like this, it looks like teddy bear ears. So depending on how you need to cut around your client's skin sticking out, you've got a guide, which I'm super excited about. She unfortunately has absolutely no skin for me to work around. So not a good model for using those, but I guarantee you at some point I will get to, and I will show you guys how that works. So, but otherwise the shape is ideal, as you can see. And they're nice and stiff and oh, perfect stickiness. Dun, ta da! Love them. Yeah, I love them. All right, where did I put my Trinity? I had to do Trinity on someone's toe before this, so I had moved it. All right, here we go. Getting my brush out and, oops, that's the wrong
Hi,
brush.
Shannon Arnold.
Hi, Shannon. So my brush always sits on top of my orange wood sticks, so I grab my brush and a stick at the same time. I'm going to be using Trinity. So first, I'm actually going to look for the ones that had a pocket. This one had a pocket, so I'm going to actually build a little bit of her nail right in the middle because her nails ski jump. That's part of the reason she gets a pocket, is that she gets ski jump nails. And so to combat this, we create a shape in her nail. So first, I'm going to go ahead and give her a little bit of a shape to fill in her spot that got pocketed. And we're going to freeze that, please. 3, 1, 2, 3. I was asked, do I use Trinity for pedicures? Not usually. The particular client that I did her big toe, she around the 2-month mark or 6-week mark, she will crack her big toe. And I like to usually use options because it's more flexible, but she even cracked that. So I was like, you know what? We're going to go for extra strength. So today I did a coat of Trinity underneath her color to see what happens. So not usually, but today was special. Howdy, Shannon. Hey, y'all. All right. Again, this is just my quick fill. If you learn to apply Trinity like this, you don't have to finish file. And that chart that I was, looking at, that people were looking, why they do a 2-hour fill, so many of you guys still finish file your fills. And on a regular fill length, a regular client, most of your clients are probably this length. This is a pretty average length. This is an easy fill to do without any finish filing if you're using the right brush and you're using the right product. It's really important to use the right brush. And I talk about this a lot. If you are using a brush with a belly, so the oval brush or any gel brush that has a belly, you are not going to be able to get this application on very easily without having to finish file, because it's going to create divots in the nail and you're going to have a really hard time. So yes, someone question.
What brush are you using?
I'm using the 108, or no, I'm sorry, 106. It's the flat brush. It is by far the most important brush in your thing. So right here, there's a little bit of a spot. I want to just drizzle. Now, if you take too much time and your product runs in the cuticle like it did right there, make sure you get it out right before you get her in the light.
Hi, Selena.
Because it's like a floodgate opening. Once it goes there, it'll keep going. So go on in. We're going 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. And then to the next nail. So when you're using this brush, because it's flat, I can gloss and glide over the nail without creating a divot. If I try to do this with a brush with a belly, you're fighting against the belly of the brush, and it's a lot harder. So yes, can you do it? Absolutely. Is it easy? No, it's harder. So if you want to make life easier on yourself, get this brush. It is a $9 brush. You can get it and replace it each month, no problem, and not feel like you are going through brushes and spending a fortune. It's not like acrylic brushes. Acrylic brushes tend to be $50 now. And even the sculpting brush, that's the Kolinsky sculpting brush from Accents, is now over $40. But this brush is still $9. So get some of these brushes, keep them on hand. That way, if you get some glitter in it, don't mix it with glitter or it becomes a glitter brush, because you can't get it out and then it does not move quite as well.
So let's see. Michelle Bertrand joined us.
Hello, Michelle.
Tim wants to know, says she put her brush in a dark draw, but it's always still stiff when she goes to use it.
Are you using it, A, do you use it often? And B, do you use it with any glitters? Are my 2 questions. Or are you only using it with Trinity? And you're using it every day, or are you using it once a month? Because if you go a really long time, it will start to stiffen up. But if you get some product in it, you're good to go. Okay, and come out. Sometimes you have to remind your client with their thumbs to come out, or they're going to get hot. So I'm going to make sure that this is in the corners.
But I'm trying to not be such a wimp, because...
So I'm just going to be creating her extension portion first. And I'm going to... So anytime you have pieces that need 2 coats, do the first coat first and then work on the other nails while that's getting to cure a little bit more. Okay, in the light. Does anyone figure out how to make Facebook comments stop going away? Go ahead and put that other hand back in.
Oh, sorry.
So again on this one, so if you want to look at it from the side, do you guys see how her nail ski jumps? So it goes like this. So because of that is why why she pocket lifts. That's one of the reasons why she pocket lifts. And also why you want to make sure that you're giving her a little bit of shape on the nail. So that's why I'm adding in a bit of product to create the correct shape on her nail. But it is why she gets pocket lifting on those middle fingers and on her thumb. Yes, you can clean it. So absolutely. Just use your wipe, a gel wipe with a little bit of your alcohol in it and give it a wipe like that. Do that a few times and then get some gel in it. So my brush that I use for French, the one I use for my French lines is this one, and it gets stiff because it doesn't get used that often. But when I go to use it, I'll get a bunch of gel in it and give it a really good wipe down, and it will work better when I go to use it. So you should be able to function okay that way. But yeah, if you're storing it in a dark drawer, it's not light that's curing it or anything. It's just needs wipe down maybe. Get a little bit of gel in it. Okay, in you go.
Photo initiators, what's that?
Photo initiators will make it feel like it's burning, so some techs are scared to use it. My clients who've had a bad experience. With gel? Kim. Oh, what does Kim say? Kim's talking about the glitter. We missed something. I don't know where it is. So sorry. You can repeat. So I'm doing the other nails, and that's going to allow the ones that I did the first coat on just to keep curing, so that when I go to do the next coat, it's not soft or mushing or anything like that. I just want to make sure it's well set. So brush it on and brush down the sides. If I have any, I'm checking my line of light where your light is reflecting to see that it's smooth and that there's no bumps. Oh, alrighty. Okay. And then now I'm going to go back to this one. And I'm going to add quite a bit more gel. And I will finish file this one. So when I'm doing a new nail like this that has this much new product, then I will have to finish file it to get the right shape in there. Just like you would a full set. So just making sure I've got plenty of product where I need it. Oh, it looks like I'm missing a corner there. Sometimes it's tough because it's totally clear. If I have a client that's wearing French or something, I might do a one that's longer. Trinity in a bottle would be awesome. I do have some people that think that. I think that there's a plan to put it in a bottle at some point. It's runny enough, I feel like, that they can put it in a bottle, but I don't know. I have a hard time with it because they would need a flat enough brush. So, because a lot of brushes in the bottles are round brushes, and you lose that ability to do this nice smooth finish. At least I feel like you do, but I could be wrong. Maybe they have some flatter brushes that would work. I'm sure they have been asked to put in a bottle many times, but I can find out. I'll ask again and see what they say. Okay, in the light. No primer or tack is needed under Trinity. That is correct. No primer or anything is needed under Trinity. It is a one-coat wonder. And I have found that using primers for most clients actually inhibits really good adhesion. I find that nothing works better than other things. So not only is it a time saver, but I feel like I get even better adhesion than I do otherwise. I'm going to freeze that a few times. So any other questions about Trinity? So it is a 3-in-1. It has base, build, and gloss. So if you have someone that literally just wants a clear nail, which I have one client who literally just wants a clear overlay, takes me about 32 minutes to do her nails. You can do just one coat and overlay and be done. All right, and do that thumb.
Are you on the thumb?
Oh, we've got some questions. We have to click the... All right, start with this one.
Okay. I'm supposed to be washing clothes right now. Oh.
The Chotan.
Okay. When looking at the line of light... Sorry. Where did it go? There it is. Okay. When looking at the line of light and the light is squiggly, is that where you add more product or float the brush to smooth it?
Yes. If it's squiggly, like right here, right now, it squiggles, that tells me that that is not a smooth spot. So I'm holding my brush sideways when I have to float product around to add more product. And now when I look at that, you can see the line goes smooth. And it'll squiggle around the edge because that's the shape of their nail. But you should not see more squiggles elsewhere. Okay, get that in the light, please. Alrighty, and we are going with one of my very favorites today on her, Wicked Love. Super excited because this is literally one of my favorite colors. I think we've almost gone through maybe 2 bottles of this since I started carrying the mood polish like a year ago. It's gorgeous.
So,
okay. Yes.
I want to say Carrie, but it could be Carrie.
Okay.
She's a hard gel educator. She has some questions on your process.
Yes.
Do you do each separate coat on each nail? Is that for the burn? Do you ever flash cure?
So the few seconds when you see her hand disappear, that is my flash cure. This product requires only a 3-second flash cure. That is not only for the burn, but also so that the product will freeze into place. It only takes 3 seconds for this product to freeze and not continue to run into the cuticle. If I try to do 2 nails, especially if my client is warm, like she is now, obviously she's warm because this mood polish is changing while it's on her. So if they're warm, it's going to keep running. So I get those in the light immediately after I apply each nail for 3 seconds. And even still, you can see here, you can see that squiggle, that line of light is a little bit off. So I could leave it because I'm going to be covering it with glitter. But if for some reason I wanted to smooth it, I would literally just grab my file, smooth where I wanted to, and brush it down. So if I had a client that was doing a solid color without glitter, I might do that to make sure that everything's going to be perfect with my line of light. But we're going to be putting glitter up near there, so you actually wouldn't have even seen that because glitter hides all things. Okay, so I'm going to grab my ombre brush.
So
and yes,
what
go ahead.
settings does your light have?
So I'm using the Le Chat Luminex light, and it has multiple settings, but I have it on the 1 minute. And because it has a nice beep to it, my clients know that it's gone on or off, and so can I. So I can just say, hey, get that back in the light. That wipe has dust on it. Let me get a fresh wipe with no dust. So it's got a 1 minute timer. I just ignore that. They just go in and out. And then I just make sure that after they've been flash curing, please put that hand in the light for a second. Yep. After she's trying to keep the comments from disappearing. Everybody needs to like spam Facebook and tell them to freaking stop making the comments disappear because it's really annoying when you're trying to read and follow at the same time. And, you know, get your nails done.
And her last question was, does your client feel the burn still? It's not unbearable.
And normally it's only if they're in there longer than 3 seconds. Yeah. If they're in there like 3.5 seconds, they feel it. If they come out at 2.5 seconds, absolutely not. They don't feel anything. So it's really just if they're in there too long, they'll feel it. If they're not in there too long, they won't feel it.
Do I need to go back in?
Nope, that's probably fine. Okay, in the light, please.
All right.
So now this hand, we've got to file her new nail.
So where do they manufacture?
So Accents is made in Vancouver, Canada. I'm just going to tuck those fingers for me. It's made in-house. 100% of the gel is created by our own team of chemists. I believe last I counted, we have four chemists that make every single product and do all of the research and development in-house. So all of the products are made there. Every single bottle of gel polish is made there. Every everything is made in that warehouse, which has been fun. I've been with Accents for almost 20 years, and so it used to be a one bay thing, and Sandy, who created the company, used to mix it all herself, just the one person. And as they've gotten bigger, really they blew up when Russia discovered our product. It became insane. And so in Russia, Luxio and the Accents products are basically like one of the biggest product lines you can get for the good Russian nail techs that have nothing to do with.
How often do you go through a tub?
I would say every couple of weeks I will go through one. It depends on whether I've front loaded or back loaded clients for a trip or something. I just started a new one yesterday, so I'll try to keep an eye out for how long it's going. Well, it's bad to say because I'm going to be gone next week.
Kathy Potter Parnell says, my wicked love starts fading after a couple of days. Is that normal?
What do you mean it starts fading? I don't understand. I have not seen that happen. Fading, like just the color itself gets lighter? I don't know. I mean, you're wearing it, so you're going to see the lighter color more often because you are...
Katie. Okay.
Okay, and just checking this because I added extra in the middle. Everything else looks good.
How long does the tub of Trinity last you? That was another question.
Yeah, a couple weeks it will last. But it depends on if I'm doing clients that are longer nails or if I have repairs. I don't have repairs that often. Even Deb here has not broken a nail in quite some time.
Yes. Does your light do it automatically? Is it soft light at first, then increase in intensity, UV or LED? I believe it's
I can set it to increase in intensity. It is a UV LED light, so it's a hybrid. It'll do both. But I just have it on the 1 minute because since my clients flash cure, I have noticed it's probably slightly less strong than the Accents light because people can go in a little bit longer before they feel a burn. So I feel like it's a little bit less strong, but I haven't noticed any problem with people curing or anything like that. Everything's curing perfectly fine. But it does have different settings, the Luminex does. But I don't, unless I'm doing like a full set, I don't need to worry about, oh, your sweater
Uh-oh. Shit.
got onto my nail.
Sorry. My bad.
Lint happens. Y'all know the shirt that we talked about this on my last video. I was like, I'm going to make a shirt that says lint happens and only nail techs are going to understand.
Does Trinity have a sticky layer?
It does. It is designed to have a sticky layer because then you can continue to add other things to it. It's not a tack-free top coat. Tack-free top coats are chemistry all on their own. And you're not going to get the flexibility that you get with Trinity if it was tack-free because of the way the chemistry works with a tack-free. Tack-free is typically not as flexible as Trinity is going to be. So it does have a tacky surface, which I don't mind. I like removing the tacky at the end of a service because it gives you the opportunity to get that dust around the cuticles that have gotten around the cuticles. So for me, removing that tacky layer at the end of the service is part of my process of cleaning up their finished product. So I don't mind the tacky at all. And you go, please.
To know where you get the forms.
So the forms I just added to my website like a hot minute ago. I'm like, if I'm going to go talk about these, I really need to get this on my website. I hadn't because I wanted to show them. And so I finally was like, okay, we're going to get these online really quickly because they just came in and we're going to show them. So you can grab those forms on my site. I imported 100 rolls. Once they're gone, then I have to import more. So they're not limited, but at the same time, they're limited because once I run out, it'll be a little while before I'm able to get more because they come from far, far away.
Mm-hmm. And then Carrie was asking about the manufacturing. Is that in Canada with Jeff Alford, I believe?
No, Accents is their own company. Accents creates their own chemistry. They don't have an outside chemist. They're their own team of chemists. And so the team of chemists for Accents manufacture only for Accents. they don't create other product lines. Like Jim McConnell, who's Light Elegance chemist, is awesome. And he actually creates gels for a lot of different companies. Accents is not one of them. Accents is created in-house only by Accents chemists for Accents only. So it's its own chemistry for sure. Get that little black dot out of there.
So we have Melissa and Sonia just...
Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. It's a rare thing that I get to do an evening one, but we had enough little issues that I'm glad that we hopped on here so that I could show you guys what to do with pocket lifters and doing a fun fade with one of my favorite colors. I love this one. So this is the ombre brush from Ugly Duckling. If you saw my video earlier this week, I think I did one earlier this week, I used the ombre brush from Profiles because that was a different technique. I was blending two colors together, so I use a different brush for that one. So I do use both brushes and they work a bit different. I love them both. So this is one of my favorite mood polishes because it goes so dramatically from this blue to the pink that as her nails grow out, she's going to get this beautiful ombre where it goes from that coral to the blue and you get like a purple in the middle. And I love this one. I use it a lot. I wear it myself.
Hope wants to know if you're still carrying the sponge buffers, not the regular sanding discs, but the spongy ones.
Yes, I have them all. I haven't stopped carrying anything lately that I know of.
Jotana's plugging your nail camp event.
Hey, Jotana. Yes, nail camp, nail camp. I hope you guys have gotten me. Jotana, are you teaching? Or is Erin teaching? Are you both teaching? Do I have class information? Have you been following my educator group? I'm getting the class information up, not as we speak, because right now I'm doing nails, but I've been staying up late working on getting the website done. I paid a guy to create a new registration center for everybody so that things would be better and people could see what classes they signed up for and all this stuff. And not only has he taken months to give me anything, it looks like garbage. And so it's not even working yet. And I just decided, okay, this year I'm just sticking with the old school. So I will open up registration this weekend. So yay, registration. There you go. I will open up registration this weekend. So I'm getting all of my educators to get me their class info. And I'm updating that. So the current class info is not current. So if you're looking at the Nail Camp website and you're like, oh, these classes look fun, but well, they're actually not the correct classes. So give me a few days. When I announce registration, it means all the classes have been updated. Okay, so this is where she gets to choose. I told her I'd give her choices.
Oh my. Let's do that one.
Okay, so this is the Aurora Sparkle and this is the Galaxy. So they're both holographic, slightly different. This one has round sparkles and this one has square sparkles. So both very fun.
Hope would like a recommendation for a search term to find the sponge disc buffers. She says she can never find them.
Is it from Stalix? The ones from Stalix?
Yes.
Okay, so search for, it should be under pedicure. There should be a section of, go to the Stalix section, and you should find them under pedicure tools, things like that.
Kaylee says Mary Ellen referred her.
Perfect. Yes, Mary Ellen Balance.
If you do trade shows as well.
I do. I'm doing the trade show. Well, I'm doing the Oregon one, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. I don't do any of the big ones. Those the manufacturer needs to rent a booth for because they are unbelievably expensive. I don't have 10 grand to throw at a booth. Mm-hmm. I used to do a lot of shows for Accents, but they got a bunch of educators and they feel like, okay, well, if there's educators in the area, we need to let them come do shows. And so when I was the one that was getting them to do shows, I was at every show. And now that we have educators kind of all over the country, they kind of just let whatever educators are in the area go first. So I do shows, but sometimes I'm just going to hang out and see people more than work it.
Joe Tana says, yes, they're both teaching.
Okay, good.
They're following the group.
Okay, good. I think you guys, if you didn't send, I think you sent me stuff, but if you didn't yet, please email it to me. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Kaylee. The more glitter, the better.
Mm-hmm. Well, so what I'm doing here is I'm creating a fade. So she's going 6 weeks. So it's important to me to make sure that this area right around the cuticle, let's go in a little bit closer here. This area around the cuticle is actually quite clear. So I have glitter there, but I'm pulling back any chunky glitter. I know you all probably, you know, and my clients probably think that I'm not, there's no thought to it. I'm just pushing it on, but I'm actually pulling back any of the bigger chunks so that as her nail grows out, it looks like it fades up to clear. There's a method to the madness. So that's what one looks like. And then what I'm going to do is for speed time, I dab on all of them, even the thumb most of the time. Then as I get the thumb done, I work backwards. So then I will fade the thumb. So typically the reason I do the pinky is because then I show my client and go, this is what you want, yes? And they go, yeah, that looks great. And then I continue. I didn't do that for Deb. That's what you want, right?
Too late now? No, yes, yes. It's what we discussed. Thank you.
Yes, we did discuss. We were discussing it, and then I was like, you know, we should video this, and that's when we jumped on the video. So
You're welcome.
That's how that happened.
What glitter are you using?
I'm using Aurora Silver. It's from the Options collection.
Oh, I was going to flip that.
Yeah,
over.
we'll flip it over.
If it'll stay.
One of us will flip it over. The Aurora Silver. So the Aurora glitters are awesome. There's 3 sizes of glitter in every pot. I really like them for fades because as you see what I'm doing, I can pull down these little fine glitters, and then if I get a chunky one, I just push it up with the very corner of my brush. I'm using a brush that's the same, you know, same one that I used before, but not the same one. This is an old one. So once your brush does start to get thick, or not thick, but once it starts to not be flexible anymore, like see if you look at that, it's just not flexible. When it starts to behave like that, you can't, it does not work well for trying to float your Trinity. So it becomes a glitter brush. So you don't want to be using your brushes for glitter that you're using for your Trinity because it will make it too stiff.
Hi, Liz.
Hello. So again, I'm pushing up the chunky glitter, but then I'm pulling it down. What's happening is that it's leaving these little tiny glitters because the Auroras have these 3 sizes of glitter, microfine, ultrafine, and chunky, and it lets me create this perfect fade. And a lot of people have a hard time doing a fade where it doesn't look like a straight line. And I think a huge part of that is not using a glitter that's multifaceted like this. You really need a glitter that has all the different sizes, and that really lets you have a really pretty fade. So push up, push up, push up. So again, I'm pushing up. That's dropping off the big or the little glitters, and then I'm going to pull down with my brush, and that's going to pull back the chunky glitters.
Carrie says yes, glitter brush or that fine glitter like chrome powder.
Mm-hmm. I hear the teenager. It's the teenager. It's the teenager probably talking on her gaming platform or whatever. We hear it through the ceiling, so it's like subtle, but you can hear it. And she's probably giggling and, you know, doing teenager-y things. My studio is from home, in case some of you are wondering. Right when you walk in my front door to the side, I have a, I guess what you could consider being like a formal living room that's turned into my studio. And there's luckily a bathroom right near it, so it works perfectly.
It's a nice setup.
Yeah, it works for what it is, you know, until our new place is built. Poor Jared's out on a skid, which is like a bulldozer, but it's a jackhammer one.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't envy him at all. So he's having to trench so that we have electric to our house, but it's built, it's called high rock. It is a rock. It's like a granite rock. And so he's having to jackhammer through the rock to do this trench for the electric, and better him than me. I just gotta say, it does not sound good. Yeah, he comes, oh my gosh, he says he stands up sometimes and it's like legs asleep and he didn't even know it. Yeah, and like he comes home and he goes, I'm gonna go take a hot bath. I'm like, yeah, I don't blame you. Bye-bye. All right, so as you can see, it's faded up to clear around the cuticle. So as this grows out, it's gonna look, she's gonna get even more compliments. I typically get more compliments in a month.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, look how pretty your nails are. Because one, they're longer, and B, you see the fade even better when that happens. So
Hi, Angie.
nice piece of blunt. Hello, hello. So dab that on. So as I'm doing this, I'm checking time. So my next client's probably gonna be walking in the door any minute. So I'm running a few minutes behind, but not horrible. I try to be really close to being on time, which I'm pretty good, right? I usually don't run over.
Yeah, no.
I try to be really close. Inevitably, when I do videos, I'm always a little bit longer, and we had some finish filing on that finger to do, which always adds a few minutes. But all we do after this is top coat, finish the edges, file from underneath, and she's done. So we are doing well.
Teresa Tobin is now with us.
Oh, hello, Miss Tobin. Oh, that's the jingle of the next one. Hello, Amanda.
Hi, Jess.
So again, we're fading this up. I'm dropping off the fine glitters near the cuticle, and if I need to, pulling down the chunky glitters. So just use the corner of this brush and it will be your friend. And again, these brushes are the same brush. It's the 106 brush that I use with my Trinity, and as they get old, I turn it into a glitter brush.
Is the glitter a bit bumpy after the top coat? No.
And that really, it amounts to what top coat you're using. So a lot of people really love Shine On, and it's our tack-free top coat, and that's totally fine. But if you were going to try to use Shine On, you would have a bumpy surface because Shine On's a much thinner top coat. It's great for a solid color. I use it on toes all the time. It is not great for going over glitter because you can't put it on thicker without it running just all over the place. It's a nightmare. It also, because it is designed to be attack-free, they have a different curing chemistry. And if you've ever had a tack-free top coat where you've top coated and you put it on a little bit thick, sometimes you literally will get a spike up the middle of the nail because there was a bubble in the top coat and that bubble was trying to escape, but it cures so fast that the bubble doesn't get all the way up. It's hilarious. But it's sharp. Like you could cut something with that little spike. It's crazy. And that's just the nature of a tack-free top coat. But it is a runnier top coat. And for me to be able to float over enough top coats so that there are absolutely no bumps. And I'll show you from the side view when I go to do her other hand. I'll show you that this Aurora Sparkle lays down really, really nicely. So you don't have to worry about it.
So we're having a sub-conversation about why the builder gel is cracking straight across near the free edge. It wasn't applied thin and she used a base coat. I used it over tips. Is that why?
If it's cracking on the tip line, yes. Is it cracking on the tip line or is it cracking on the stress area? Because if it's cracking right here, this is the stress area. That means she needed more shape. If your tip is applied here and it's cracking here, it's where your tip line is, and there's not enough strength where your tip line is. You'll notice that sometimes when you sculpt a new set, as people are getting to where their natural nail is almost grown out and there's just a tiny little smidge left of extension, sometimes people will chip that little corner off, that little end off. Go ahead and put that in, please. Oh, did I not do your thumb?
No.
Come back.
You want it back?
Yes, please. I saw it as you went away from me, and I'm like, wait a minute. We're missing a nail. You can come grab colors and start looking unless you already know what you want.
I already know.
She comes prepared.
Yeah, I just, I think about it the day after I leave you, actually. What's going to be next?
Are we mooning again?
No, I think I'm going to
Glittering?
No, I think I'm going to do, I want to do like a neon French.
A neon French.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. That's something different for you.
Yeah.
Stepping outside a little box, are you?
Yeah, I totally am.
Good for you. I'm too
I did this beautiful French this week. I know people are going to be like, you should have videoed it. I used the cheetah the cheetah foil, and she has long almond nails, and I did this long almond cheetah with the foils, and
Ooh, so like the actual tip was the cheetah foil.
yeah, but they were like deep almonds, so they weren't even like the whole length of it. I probably could get a picture, but they were super pretty. And then she wanted butterflies on it, which I don't know that butterflies go with cheetah, but she sure thought they did, so we put some holographic butterflies on there.
Your wish is
My command. So if you look at it from the side, do you see that it's really not bumpy? That Aurora Sparkle lays down really, really nice. So it's not going to take much top coat. But I like to use the Luxio gloss. It goes on just thick enough that I can get a nice, good finish. Now, because I'm going to be putting it on just slightly thicker, I'm actually going to flash cure after 2 nails because I hate when product runs in the cuticle, like a passion. Because it takes me longer to get product out of the cuticle than if I just flash cure for like 2 seconds and freeze it into place. So I'm getting really close to the cuticle, and as you can see, I'm dabbing a little bit right in the middle to make sure that it's super, super smooth. So to do that, I want to make sure nothing runs. Flash for a second. We're going to go 1, 2, and that's it. It really doesn't take much, but just that little bit of time is going to keep it, hopefully, from running into the cuticle. It doesn't always work. Sometimes between the time I tell her to go in the light and the time the light actually hits it, it still does it, but that's life, right?
Right.
And before I go to the thumb, I'm going to flash her for a quick second, too. But I'm also using this top coat to give me a little bit of shape. If I feel like the nail is a little bit flat, like this one I feel like needed just a little bit of shape near the cuticle, you can do that. I apologize for my nails. They're 5 weeks old. But I'm going to do them this weekend, so I've got to decide how I'm going to do them, and I don't know yet. But I have enjoyed them. They've been very, very springtimey. Wasn't our weather yesterday so nice? Apparently it's going to be like 65 or 70 or something on Sunday. It's going to
Really?
be, yeah, it's supposed to be a nice warm day again on Sunday. So make plans for sunshine. It's the best part about living in the Northwest. As you all around the country are getting hot as tamales, we up here in Seattle are just pleasant and lovely and no humidity. And we just have the most beautiful summers, which is why if you were to like Google, where should I go for a summer vacation? It will often say, come to Seattle, because our weather is the best in the country in the summer. We're going to New York in the summer. We're going to New York in August. I know, ew, because it's Larissa's birthday and I'm surprising her. She doesn't know.
Oh,
I'm gonna do a whole kidnapping situation where I know we'll go to dinner and then Jared will just drop us off and she'll be like, what are we doing at the airport? And I'll be like, maybe we're gonna go somewhere for your birthday, and just not even tell her. And then I thought, you know how fun it will be? I'll have the boarding passes on my phone, so she won't know. We'll just randomly pick like gates to sit at and be like, oh, let's sit here, and it'll be like Minneapolis or something boring. And then we'll make our way to the correct gate. And she loves Broadway more than anything, so I had to cancel our trip for September. So I'm like, all right, let's use our miles, get Larissa something for her birthday, and take her on a little mom and me trip. So
Patty wants to know what gel
Freeze.
you use to fill your nails.
Mine, or that I did for hers. Hers are, is that what she was asking? What I use to fill nails?
What gel do you use to fill your nails?
I fill with Trinity. If I wanted to cheat on mine and just literally, I did mine so that if I really wanted to, I could totally fake it and just do a clear coat and do it. But I think I want something brighter because I'm going to Florida, so I'm going to redo them completely. But usually I would just do Trinity and call it a day. All right, so these do leave a tacky surface because this is the Luxio gloss. It is designed to have a tacky layer, which is fine. I'm going to give it a little squeaky squeak. Were you out too much? Not squeaking as much as I like. Keep your fingers in it. It's because the stupid Facebook thing.
Yes.
She has to keep
tapping
tapping
it. You
it.
give me a job, and
I know. It's because she has to keep tapping the damn thing. We all need to tell Facebook that they need to fix
It's
that.
not bad if you stay caught up,
Yeah.
because then the new comment you know, pops up and
But they disappear so
yeah, they
fast.
do. They really do. Are we sure that's not a setting?
I don't know. If someone can figure that out, that'd be great. Like, my husband's love him, but slowest reader, so there's no way if I had him reading comments, he'd get through a comment before it was gone.
You see me, I have to get up close and personal because I can't read the tiny print.
So I'm just going through, I'm softening the corners. She doesn't like to stab herself, usually. I mean, it could be fun, but that's another conversation.
Depends on where we're stabbing.
I know, it's another conversation. Okay, so I'm going to grab this bit back, and this is vitally important, is to remove underneath the nail, just on the free edge. Why do I do this? Very, very, very important. If you have clients whose nails curl, their natural nails get thick, and when they get thick, they dry out and they curl away from the gel, and you end up with separation in the corner. What happens when it separates in the corner? They pick at them, they pull at them, and their nails pop off. So the way to combat that problem is to remove the natural nail from the very end by doing that little trick I just showed you. It eliminates it from getting too thick and curling away and causing them to pick at that nail and pull it off, because every time they do that, they will get lifting, and it will lift all the way, and you will end up with popped off nails if they're not seeing you soon. So it also thins it out.
You're breaking the top coat seal when you file at the end
No,
like that?
that is not a problem with accents. It's a problem with some products. It is not a problem with accents whatsoever. There is no such thing. So if it was sealed like to a non-tacky surface, maybe you might have a problem, but we have a tacky gel that's meshed perfectly to another tacky gel. So there is no top coat surface. They are meshed together as one gel. So that's a problem if the product you're using has that problem, but with the products I'm using, that is not a problem, which is important because I have clients that have to file their nails in between their services. And if they weren't able to file them themselves, that could be a problem for them. So why did I do this one even though I sculpted it? I wanted to give it a little bit of a C-curve from underneath, a little more than what I already had. I also like to use this trick to thin out the nail because, like if you look at this last one before I do the very last one, let's see if I can get the dust off. Do you guys see the thickness of the nail here? Let's see. You've got clear here and then color. But if I go here and I remove the amount that I remove, I'm removing that whole clear part. Now you just have color. The nail's much thinner, much more natural feeling, much more natural looking. So, really important step. All right, brush, brush, brush. Ooh, I'm tardy. Sorry, Amanda. Don't worry. I'll give you just as much love. But not as much chit-chat.
Someone asked about if Trinity is your go-to.
It is my go-to for many, many years. And if you watch any of my old videos, I was all about natural. I love natural. I still love natural. I have Accents make it special for me because I don't make it anymore. I have to buy a whole giant batch at a time for the chemist to make it. They have to order all the materials and everything. So I still love it. I use it for all of my full sets because it's a really great hard gel with a bit thicker viscosity. But for my go-to every day in the salon fills, 30-day manicures, Trinity is key. So there you are all. I hope everyone enjoyed this little video and joining me and Deb, and hopefully you picked up a trick or two for pocket lifting, things like that. And thanks for joining us.
And get the new forms on the
Yes, enjoy the new Olena forms. I put her name on there, so they are the new Olena forms. You should see it on the very front page because it'll be in the new products. Enjoy them, and we'll catch you all next time. Good night.